Hello everyone. So in this tutorial we are going to be creating a very simple sales dashboard, casing like the sales figures, basically communicating what sales has been in let's say Sholem Industries. So we have the raw data here now. So basically the raw data contains the date, the region, the state, the product, the unit sold, and the revenue of each of the products depending on the date that we sold them. So what we are going to basically what this particular tutorial is um, just trying to show is to basic way of creating easy and simple dashboard in Excel. So to create a dashboard in Excel, it only takes like three steps. So the first step is to define your structure. So you have to define like exactly how you want it to look, maybe where your filter will be, how you want your scorecard to look like, your charts, where you want to place it. Just like a little bit of structure which we are going to look at very soon. And the second one is a pivoted input. So basically, you want to like pivot this raw data. We have looked at pivots in like previous video. So if you have not checked it out, you can probably check the videos from the playlist. So we just pivot this particular data and try to, after pivoting, the third step is to create charts from them or tables from them depending on what you want to do. Then after that you now place it in your structure to mirror like a proper dashboard. So in this tutorial we are going to be doing it very simply. So without further ado, let's quickly start with the first step, which is structure. So we want to like give our dashboard a very simple structure. So the first structure we want to give is, let's say here now we want to make the, okay, yeah, before we even start anything in this structure, this our grid line, we don't want to see them because I mean it will be more or less like an Excel sheet if you are trying to do it like this. So you can come to data and just remove the, sorry, view. When you go to view, you just remove the grid guidelines. So you can see now it looks like a plain space for us to design and try to make it feel like a proper dashboard. Then what we can do here is just to come here and maybe let's just choose a color here and go to home. Let's choose a background color for, you can choose this one as a background color. Then after that, let's place, this is the structure part. So we're just trying to like give the dashboard a structure. So let's come to insert. You can do let's do the shape here now. Let's just give it like a proper shape here so that to have an heading. So here now we don't want any. You can just give it like a, let's give it this color. Yeah. So no outline. We don't want any outline here. So and we want it to look like a, let's give it a shape effect. Let's give it a glow. So it has this kind of glow here now. Exactly. So it looks elevated from the ground. And after that now let's create our, this is where we are going to put our title. Title something like Sholem Industries Sales Data, something like that. So let me quickly put it here. Sholem, just put it as Sholem Industry Sales Figures. So let's change the font color. It's going to be like, give it like a black. Let's broaden it. We can increase the, yeah. So that works. So we have the uh, Sholem sales figure. Let's just put it like this and leave it. We can change it later. Then we can just Control C and Control V of this one. Let's just create like three KPIs. One for, let's say one for the revenue, one for the count of the product. Just paste revenue. Yeah. So let's just duplicate it. Control C and Control V for this one will be, let's say, the counts or orders. Let's just put orders. Yeah, I can do average revenue. Yeah, so we are done with the structure now. We want to quickly take a look at the next step, which is pivoting our raw data. So this is our raw data now. So we want to just look for a way to pivot it, or if you put it in a better word, for analysis. Like we want to like analyze the data and get like what we need to put in our structure, like the revenue, the average revenue, the total count, and the rest like that. So this is exactly how we're going to do it. This is basically using pivots to achieve this. So the second step is like basically the analysis of pivoting. The first thing we need to do here is to uh, select our data and convert it to a table. And the way to convert it to a table is just to click on Control T. So when you click on Control T now, convert it to a table. You can see now this is a table. We don't like this style, so let's just change the style to normal style. Or we don't, let's just clear the style. Yeah. So we don't want any style there. So you can see now this is a table. So why we converted it to a table is that in case maybe there are other data that needs to come in, you can just add them here, and the data will automatically update in our visual. So there's no need of trying to like now trying to put them in the maybe data range of our pivot table that we have done before. So it automatically selects new data for us if you have converted it to a table. That's why we are converting it to a table here. And after that, we go to our pivot. So let's select all our table. Then we can come to the pivot insert. This is our insert. Then we are going to be inserting it in an existing table. So this pivot input now. So let's start from here. Exactly. So this is how we are going to be pivoting our table. So the first thing we need to do is according to our uh, according to our structure here, we need our revenue, orders, and average revenue. So we can do that in just one pivot. So let's just put our orders. Let's say, okay, this is our revenue. It's going to be a sum. You can see now it automatically gave us a sum. If you want to change it, you can come here and say value, uh, that value field setting. You can change it to maybe average, max, product, depending on what you want. But I mean, in our own case now, we don't need much. We have it. You can give it our number format too if you want. Yeah, so you can make it like sorry to look like a normal, to look like normal numbers without any decimal. So you can see now. So that is our sum of revenue. Then we can come to our total count too. You see, we are putting it in the value part because it's just like an aggregation. So this is the count of our, is summing everything in our unit sold. So basically a count of all the orders that we have. Then the last one will be our average revenue. And you can arrange this anyhow you want. So our average revenue. So let's just, yeah, you can see now that that's our average revenue. So in order for us to be able to flexibly do it very well, let's change this. The way we are viewing it, let's change it to this type or this type, the layout, so that we'll be able to, yeah, you can see now, you can see all our aggregations here. Then this one now, I want to change it to an average. So what we can do is to come to value settings, then instead of sum, change it to an average. So you can see now we have a revenue of 25,530,000. Then we have our average revenue then. I mean the unit sold. So that's why you can see now we are done with our KPI metrics, if you like. So our sum of revenue, average revenue, and the unit sold. So we have our correct numbers. So the next one is just to check, like, I mean, what is the sales trend? How has been the trend of like sales, maybe in 2021 versus 2032, depending on what we have in the data. So what we can do here now is still we are still going to be using pivot, so we can just copy and paste this Control C and let's say Control V. But instead of using this same stuff that we have used, we can just remove everything. So we'll remove all the aggregated rows that we have. So after we have done it, after we have, let's change the settings to, so we'll remove everything. So after removing it, what we can do now is just to put the columns that we want to view in our pivot table. So basically, we want to view the revenue. Also, we want to look at the product. I mean, what product have we sold? Yeah, you can see now. Our row will be the product, beans, cooking oil that we have sold. Then the sum of revenue will be basically the aggregated value that we are looking at. But we still want to slice it further with the dates because it's a trend. So we want to look at, I mean, what do we have like in these dates? What do we have there? So we'll put the date in the columns. So this is a further slicing of our data so that we'll be able to see, like, I mean, from 2021 to 2022, how does the sale like compare to each other. So let's change the view so that we're able to. So in this particular case now, you can see we have year, we have quarter, we have date. We don't want to complicate it, so we are going to be removing the date. We're going to be we have the pivots or the analysis that we need for our dashboard. So all we need to do now is just to bring um, the KPIs and the charts that we need. So at first, let's create this chart because I think it's one of the easiest one here. So you can just highlight the charts that we want. Let's just highlight the ones that we want here. Then just click on any of the charts. So we click on insert and come here to like the charts that we need. Let's just pick this one. I think this one speaks very simple and straight, basically comparing 2021 and 2022 sales. You can see now based on each of the product. So this one is a very easy and straightforward visual that someone can understand, and it tells the story very well. So all we can do now is just to you can cut it out of here if you want. So you can cut it and come here, paste it. So we just need to stretch it out and make it sit well with this on this chart so that it looks presentable. So you can further customize it if you want. I mean, you can remove the background. There's so many things that you can do here. But I'm going to be sticking with a very basic visualization. So you can see now we have a very clean chart that is showing basically what we have done over time. The comparing 2021 and 2022, which is a very good way to tell like the story of sales. Basically, what we did in 2021, what we did in 2022. So our KPIs now, we have our pivot here, which has all our figures for our KPIs, which is basically what maybe the small SME will be monitoring, maybe their revenue, average revenue, and total unit of products that they sold. So all we can do here now is just to bring this figure here, but we want to bring it in dynamically. We don't want to just we don't want to just bring it in just like normal figure or copy and pasting it. We want to do it in such a way that when anything change with this raw data, it automatically updates in the pivot table and also automatically update here. So what we can do here now is to come here and look for the text box. So we look for our text box here. So our text box will be here now. Yeah. So all we can do now is just to write is equal to, just like we want to write a formula. We are going to be picking it from this pivot input. So we'll pick it from here like this. You can see now there's an error, and I deliberately did it so that you'll be able to see the error. So it does not accept, like especially when you have a pivot table and you want to reference it like this, Excel does not allow it. So all we need to do is to write it manually. If you write manually, it will accept it. So I'm going to be writing it manually. You can see now we have the pivoted inputs. Oh yeah, we need to just put the, yeah, so we need to just put the, this is B3, the name of the cell that we want to pick from. Yeah, so let's just let's just do it again. So pivoted, it has to be exactly pivoted inputs. Then you can put the exclamation mark, then we have the B3. You can see now we have our figure here now. So in this our figure, we can do anything we like with it. You can increase the, font size, you can bolden it to suit exactly what we need. Yeah, so I mean, I don't want the shape, feel, and the outline. So I can just remove those ones from here. No feel and no outline. You can see now we have a very basic number here. Let's just let's increase the font size a little bit. Yeah, so we can just put it here now. So it's dynamic enough that when the data change in raw input, it automatically updates. So we can just Control C and Control V here to put it together here. So the last part uh, of this particular process is just to make it interactive enough for people using it to be able to like uh, slice it and look at exactly what they need to look at. And for that kind of feature now, we use the slicer. And how do we use the slicer? We just click on any of the pivot table, come to the pivot table, analyze. And you can see now we have insert slicer. So we click on this insert slicer, then we, we, we kind of we choose like the column that we need to slice by. So in my case now, I'll go with region. So when you click on region, you can see now that we have this region slicer. When you click on it, you can see that only one pivot is changing, which is the first pivot table, which is this one. So I mean, in our case now, we want it to affect all our pivot table. So we come to the report connection. So when you come to report connection, you see we have two pivot there. It's only connected to one. So we just click on the second one and OK. Then you can see now that it's affecting all the pivots, all the pivot. Then we can just control, we can cut it out of here, then bring it to our visualization, basically our structure. So when we bring it here, we just place it wherever we want to place it. So depending on what you are building, it's a very dynamic way of building dashboard. So you can just place it here depending on how we want it to look. You can place it here, then you can see that if anybody comes in now and just, you can see everything is changing, the numbers are changing. So you can also add one slicer again, which is maybe the year. So maybe you want people to be able to come in and just slice by the year. Still the same process. Come to the pivot table, analyze, insert slicer, and you can just pick the years. Yeah, you can see now. You can pick the years, and we can just also click on this same pivot. Yeah. So there are some mistakes in the data. I didn't really clean the data, so I mean that's why we are seeing this one. But we can just ignore it because the main focus of this video is just to show you how to create like a dashboard, and you can pick it up from here. So you can just cut it out, then put it here. Let's rearrange this very well now. So so you can see now I've rearranged it very well.